Now, Greenbean, you did bring up a player that I do want to talk about, and that is Dalvin Cook. Apparently, he's weighing multiple offers, according to NBC Sports. Now, we've heard him linked to the Jets numerous times. We've seen him like a bunch of tweets and retweet things, and we've seen, the Dolphins come up in conversation. We've seen I think the Patriots to some extent, the Bills. Basically, this guy's all over the AFC East right now. And then we heard Tyler Conklin also make some comments about Dalvin Cook. So I want to play that interview real quick, and then we'll bounce back to this conversation on the other side.
Speaking of talent, Garrett Wilson talked over the weekend about Dalvin Cook. Certainly seems like he's very open to the idea of Dalvin coming in. You were pretty tight with Dalvin in Minnesota. Well, is there room in the Jets universe for a Dalvin Cook type playmaker?
Well, there's plenty of room. We got room for whoever wants to come help us win a Super Bowl. But yeah, me and Dalvin were like basically locker mates. So my first couple of years, and he was an awesome guy. I reached out to him, so I was just curious, like, are the rumors true? Is this actually possible? And that would be a special backfield with Brees and Dalvin and the rookie and whatnot. So Mike Carter, I don't know. There's a lot of running backs, but I think it would be special, especially in this outside zone scheme.
So interesting comments from Tyler Conklin. And I'll give you my thoughts real quick before I throw it to you guys. And my whole thought process, my ears perked up when I heard, he reached out to Dalvin Cook to see if this was even true. Could it be possible that the rumors are true? And he didn't say, yes, it's true. He said, he just reached out to talk about it. And there was no more information there's no, I've had any conversations with the Jets. I've kind of kept my thought process the whole time. I like Dalvin Cook. I'm a big fan of Dalvin Cook, but I know he's from Florida. I think he ultimately wants to end up in Miami, and I think he's using us as leverage to try and get more money out of Miami. I don't think all these different liked tweets and following Woody Johnson and following all the different Jet players, I think it's him signaling falsely. That he's trying to I might end up on the Jets. Who knows? We'll see what happens. I'm weighing multiple offers. I think this is, he's got one offer from Miami. Then I'm sure he went out and told his agent, hey, tell them that we're weighing multiple offers. Hopefully they think the Jets are one of them. And then maybe they'll up their offer a little bit more and I'm ultimately going to sign there. That's my gut feeling is where he ultimately ends up. According to the live chat, we did put a poll question in there to start. Do you think the Jets were one of the teams to offer Dalvin Cook a contract? 69% of 236 votes. Oh, I can't believe I missed that, Matt. Thank you for making that comment. I thoroughly enjoy this now. This is, no one else vote, please. 69% of you say, yes, the Jets were one of the teams to offer Dalvin Cook a contract that he is currently weighing. So I want to open up the discussion here. Greenbean, I'll throw it to you first. Do you believe the Jets could be one of these multiple offers that Dalvin Cook is currently weighing right now?
I voted yes. I don't, and it's weird. I don't, an offer. I don't know. I think that there's interest. I agree with you though. I think there's leverage and posturing going on. But here's an interesting spin I'd like to present is that I would not be surprised to learn, similarly in the Tyreek Hill thing, not that we didn't want Tyreek Hill, right? We had an offer on the table. But, the Jets for many, many years were notoriously played by agents and players. And we heard the first year that Joe Douglas was our GM, we heard it come out from the Rappaports and Schefters of the world that the reports from agents is that that's no longer the case, that the Jets they're not playing games like that anymore. They're not able to be manipulated. We heard that right away. And I wouldn't be surprised to learn that Joe Douglas has a pretty good idea of, kind of what's going on, what he's going to accept and be able to push things so other teams have to lose more draft picks, spend more money, those kinds of things. I wouldn't be surprised to learn that he's involved on that level, knowing, hey, if we get him for this price, fine, but more than likely it's just going to up the price for somebody else. And it's kind of, that playing all the, putting logs in all the fires, so to speak. It's like being able to pay attention to everything. It's like when you go into the draft, not just knowing what you want to do, but having an entire network of people that are working to understand what everybody else is going to do, what the propensity is, of each team, who they're likely looking at, what are they really willing to do, all those kinds of things. And that's how you play a draft board much more successfully. You're able to make more appropriate trades when you know, oh yeah, well, this team is definitely shooting for the same guy that we are, as opposed to just flying blind and trading against yourself like Mike Maccagnan did when he was nervous that everybody was going to jump him for Christian Hackenberg and decided to use a second-round pick on a guy that nobody even had, higher than the 6th or 7th, as like a kind of a flyer. And he's like, oh my God, everybody wants him. So he's notorious. He did it with Le'Veon Bell. He negotiated against himself. I wouldn't be surprised to learn that there's some of that going on. I do feel that it's unlikely. I mean, if he came, hey, again, it's just the same thing with like a Michael Evans. Yeah, great. Bring him on, man. I think Breece, it'll give us the ability to kind of slow roll Breece. Again, while we want to beat Buffalo and we want to start the season hot, no doubt, but it is going to be much more beneficial to have a full roster, your full complement of healthy guys in December than it is in September. It's just, we see it every year, man. Like even us, we were 7-3. We didn't make the playoffs. There are teams like, they have 4 wins going into December, and the next thing you know, they're a playoff team. December is when you got to win. It really comes down to that. So Breece being healthy at the end of the year, like the second portion of the year is really paramount. And if you got to slow roll them and you can have a guy like Dalvin Cook in there to kind of complement the Michael Carters and whoever else, is on the roster at that point, Izzy or Bam or whoever it is, I think that would be a positive. But that said, I struggle to think that it's realistic. I don't think we're going to pay him the money that he wants. So I think, ultimately he'll end up probably in Miami.
Matt, what about you? How are you feeling about this Dalvin Cook weighing multiple offers? Do you think there's anything to the Jets maybe wanting him? A lot of the liked tweets by Dalvin Cook are Jet related. How are you feeling on this?
I think there is some mutual interest here. If I were to bet on it, I do think he ends up in Miami. I just think that's a better fit for them and him. I'm also a little bit weary of some of his underlying numbers. They weren't great last year. I don't think I wonder how much is left in the tank. And I know he's 28 years old, and usually 30 is the age where it feels like running backs are just about done. But we've seen guys really fall off starting in their late 20s now. Ezekiel Elliott, oh my God, Todd Gurley, Le'Veon Bell. I really wonder how much he has, and who knows, maybe he proves me wrong. He goes to Miami and runs for 2,000 yards, and I hate myself for it. But, it is what it is. If the Jets sign him, I understand why, because as we've been saying, like, you want Breece healthy and at his best down the stretch rather than at the start of the season. But I'm good with running Izzy and Michael Carter and Bam Knight. I think the Jets are okay there at running back.